inviting me. I've known Michael for several years. At one point, he represented my union. I am a retiree from Torrance Unified, and we have two separate unions at our school district, and SEIU is one of them. And I know for a fact that they do these things that you're saying about how they misrepresent and they don't actually really represent members. My experience is that when I organized this a small group of ladies, our paraeducators, nearly 20 years ago, they wanted us, of course, and so we looked at them. We said, "Yeah, you're not really our people." So over the years, what I found is, working at Torrance, is that I was, and I still am, the chief union steward for our bargaining unit. And I've done this now for nearly 20 years. I find that the SEIU people will actually come to me because I know their contract as well as I know our contract. And they're telling me they're not being represented. And they come to me and they ask me questions, and I tell them how they might be able to go in and talk to a supervisor or mitigate something that's going on. So I know that they're not being represented on a personal level because I get those phone calls from people that aren't even in my bargaining unit. Secondly, over the last probably, I think it's been about 15 years, they've tried to desert the bargaining unit that is SEIU in our district has tried to desert twice. The latest one was just maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, and unfortunately they lost that by 3 votes. So they're not happy with their representation from SEIU. If you go on our website on qsd.org and you look at the SEIU contract, their bargaining unit contract,
it's expired.
It's dated 2019. This means they've been without a contract for 2.5 years. That's not representation, people. If you go on SEIU's webpage, you'll see that they only have their 2013 contract on it. They haven't even updated it to 2019. Are they being represented? I don't think so. So it's really important that you share information about what actually is happening on the ground with SEIU, with your fellow people at work, so that they know that they should not be voting in SEIU. I just don't see any advantage to it. I'm constantly being asked by their members. I mean, it's regularly, at least once a month, I have somebody calling me saying, "I don't know what to do. Where do I go? What do I do?" And I'm like, do you have someone to call? They don't even have a board at our school district. They don't have a president, a vice president. No, there's nobody there representing them. So they have to have someone come from SEIU out, and they aren't coming out to represent them when they go in to meet with an administrator. They're there alone. So I don't see that as representation. So my advice is definitely need to vote in Teamsters. They're the ones that are the strongest. My personal bargaining unit, since they're not Teamsters, we're not represented by them. But every time I've been on a picket line or been out somewhere working with our bargaining unit and our union, Teamsters are there with us. They're side by side with us. They always show up. They're always there. So it was super impressive for me. In 2010, I was given an internship with my union, and I spent first 6 months, it was 6 months, but it was extended for another 6 months because I loved what I was doing and having a great time doing it, doing the organizing. And during that time, there was so much going on at LAUSD, and that was where I was working out of as an intern. I was just so impressed with them at the bargaining table and what they were able to do. And you know, I'm going to say that when you also look at the SEIU, they do piggyback on other unions. So for example, like our district, we were given a stipend, a COVID stipend. And when that stipend was given, it was just basically a gift from our school board. And SEIU put it out like they negotiated it. Everybody got it. You know, it wasn't like it was like, here you go, here, you know, there's really no negotiating going on with that. Recently, they've also put out other things that they put in there, like we all have Me Too clauses. I don't know if you're aware of what that means, but that means if any other bargaining unit in your district bargains something better for wages or for benefits or anything like that, that's part of the Me Too, you get that one. So we just got our raises and they put out, like, they negotiated that. They didn't negotiate that at all. They have a Me Too, so that's why they got what the teachers negotiated. The teachers were able to negotiate a little bit more than what we negotiated, so we all got the Me Too. But again, they take credit when they're not really bargaining and they're not really doing the work for you that they should be doing. I don't know what else to add to that, other than my other experiences there, so.
Any questions for Monica?
I'm trying to understand why do they lie about everything? Why aren't they doing the work? What is the problem?
Well, they've restructured from what I understand. I mean, I'm not in that unit, so I don't know specifically. And because there's no president for me to go to there, or any other job store for me to go to, or anyone there at the district that I can actually talk to, I don't really know. My understanding is that they've kind of restructured, and in that restructuring, they really don't have like chapters.
Yeah, well, let me
Like,
know.
or districts. I don't know how you guys, I don't know how the board does it, so. We have chapters, so, they don't really have them locally. Everything's coming out of the field office. So once again, there's nobody there, like, when I'm called, I can go. Like, there's nobody there, somebody's gonna have to drive out from their field office. It's not gonna happen right away. So, you definitely wanna have somebody there with you if you're called in to administrate. You don't wanna go in that room alone.
What's the
So,
point
and
of
you
having
wanna
a
be able
union?
to have the rights of being a union member. You wanna be able to say, you know, no, I think this is gonna lead to discipline and I want representation. You don't wanna have to go in there and not have that kind of representation.
Yeah, I don't have any representation now, so why would I pay dues to someone who's not gonna help me, is not gonna
Right.
be,
That's
they're
what
gonna
I-
ghost me.
Exactly.
Right there.
Anybody else?
Any other questions for Monica? All right, thank you.
Thank you.